I'm Nick Winder with the Winder's Woodshop, and today we're going to make this really simple. Alright, for this project we're going to be using poplar. We're just going to cut down a couple squares, and then I'll show you the template and how we're going to get everything lined up. So it's about 7 1/4 wide, so we'll cut it off there. Got this quick and dirty little crosscut sled I made. Alright, let's get these cut off. Alright, this part's going to be pretty simple. We've got our 2 squares here. Earlier I created a template that'll help speed the process up along. What we're going to do is go ahead and just carpet tape these 2 together. We'll probably just use the light traffic tape. And we'll cut our angle off on the bandsaw. Later on we'll probably use the heavy traffic, but this part, we just want something to stick together. And we also got our template here. And we're just going to lightly line it up. This is actually smaller than our boards. And we're just going to draw a line for about where we want to cut it off. And then we'll come back and we'll actually take the flush trim bit on the router in order to make everything equal. Alright, got our line drawn, we're set up on the bandsaw. We're just going to cut to the outside of our line. Alright, we got it cut off. Let's get it set up with the template and we'll flush trim it. So before starting this one, when I actually made the original one, I created a template. The idea was I could take a flush trim bit and just go around and everything would be nice and square on both parts. So we're going to use some heavy carpet tape here, or heavy traffic carpet tape. Because you don't want this thing sliding with the template. Sliding means you're cutting into places you don't want to cut into. Alright. And we're just going to make sure there's a little bit of a lip all the way around. And push down really hard. This seems to be pretty solid. And then we'll set this up on some bench dogs. Alright, we got them carpet taped together. The template is on the bottom because that's where the bearing's going to be once we start. I went ahead and put it on some bench cookies just to give it something to stick onto there. When you do this, make sure you keep firm pressure down and around. Otherwise you'll throw this board across the room. Alright, those 2 are even. Now before we take these off, I also got the holes drilled for the dowels that's going to go in between them. We're going to take this over to the drill press and use a 1/2 inch Forstner bit and drill those out. Alright, we've got our depth stop set up so we don't drill too far down. We're going to go drill out our 4 holes. And then this one side will be ready for sanding. holes are drilled out, I'm gonna go get the other template set up on the other side. We'll get that flush trimmed and drilled out as well. Now one thing you want to look at when you start to use the template on the other side is make sure you get it on the right side of the board. Just do a quick line up and we'll get the carpet tape and we'll get this one going. Probably do this one off camera unless something interesting happens. We got the other side flush trimmed to the template and drilled out. As you can see, they're looking pretty good together. We got a 1/2 inch dowel now that we're going to span across them. And it should fit in there pretty snug. We'll add a little bit of glue to hold it in place. We're going to go ahead and cut these out in 12-inch sections on the miter saw. Should have a pretty easy assembly. Just put the dowels on one side. And get it matched up. Alrighty, it's dry fitted. We'll go ahead and sand it. Not doing anything too fancy with sanding. We're just using our random orbit sander. We'll do 80 grit, 120, and then we'll go to 220, and then we'll go to finishing. All right, sanding's done. I think we're gonna move inside and we'll do the finishing in there. All right, got the book holder done. I wasn't impressed with any of my finishing videos, so we're just going to jump ahead to the end. Pretty much for finishing, I use a preconditioner and let it soak in for 5 minutes, wipe off the excess. Then when I stain it, I let it set on there for 15 minutes. Gives it the darkest, richest color, I think. You wipe off the excess. With stain, you don't have to be too pretty putting it on because you are wiping off the excess. You just have to make sure it's all covered. The hardest part, I think, about finishing is always the final coat of the clear coat. I used poly. First coat didn't look too pretty, but I was using a cheap, crappy brush. Second coat, I sanded off all the air bubbles that were left behind. Did a foam brush, it looked a lot better. If you're using wipe-on poly, you can use just a regular towel too. I left the dowels unfinished for now. I might throw some poly on there just to protect them, but I like the contrast. The template that I was using was just one of the first ones that I came up with, just kind of prototyping and trying to figure out my dimensions. It has the 4 holes drilled through. It's pretty simple. Overall, this project's really easy and really simple. I really like it. I think my daughter's going to be happy. It's going to match the shelf that we made her a couple months ago really well. Thank you for watching. If you want to be my shop partner, please hit the subscribe, like this video, all that fun stuff. We will see you next time.